hand in anything, it's destructive. And so marriage is honorable in the eyesight of God. It's the right way. It's in the will of God. And anything that's honorable and in the will of God, these are the things that Satan attacked. And most people feel that no joy, no happiness. I mean, you stay married and you stay, then you assume your zeal, your zest that you had when you first started out. But marriage today, if you put work in it, you will benefit from it. It's what you put in this marriage is what comes out of it, and you can you laugh, and every day you try to do something that will enhance the mate that you have, that God has given you. And I'm a firm believer that when you're doing it God's way, God every day God will give you something afresh to give or add or to say, and there's a lot of laughter. Should be in relationships and in marriage. And when people fail to communicate, which is a key factor that people fail to do, is communicate. When you're married, just like a mother and a daughter, a father and a son, you should be able to communicate or talk about anything. Because we are still, you may be married, but you're two unique people that come together as one. And I think not long ago I gave you a $2 bill, and which is a prime example of what God is doing. God takes two people and they become one. So if I gave you two $1 bills, that's two individuals. But now they got a $2 bill, which is one. And this is how God wants us to do. God wants us to come together as one in Him. And if we allow Him to come in, and as Proverbs said that he tells us not to lean to our own understanding, but in all our ways, if we acknowledge God, and there's nothing that we can do that God doesn't know. I mean, we can't hide anything. Even the thoughts that we think, God already knows those. So what we need to do is involve God. And most people, when they don't want to commit, is they don't want to involve God, because they know that there are boundaries. They know that there are certain things that they cannot do when God is involved in it, because the Spirit of God will not allow you to do anything that would be detrimental to your soul.
Okay, that's true.
And so we need to go, and we need to be setting examples for our younger people today.
But at what point do we start this? I mean, do we start as children, age appropriate? I mean, we're in the church, but what are we really teaching? So where does it go? Where does it start, basically? Because there comes a point in our lives, our own lives, we know that there was a time when we did things that were contrary to God's will, but at some point we got convicted.
True.
So my point again is, we go to church, we hear this information, we say we're Christian, but we're not living a Christian, godly life. How do we as Christians get caught up in the worldliness? The church is supposed to be setting the example.
Exactly. Well, it just goes to show you that there's a lot of people that said that they verbally said that they're saved, but their actions is far from it. So whatever's in you will come out of you. And so we should be training our children when they come into the world. Morals, respect. And that's something that we've gotten away from. We would much rather buy our children than to teach them morals and train them up in the way that they should go. We strive for them to, I'm not against education, but we strive for them to get the best education, and then we go out and we spend. We try to find the best schools, we find the best teachers, we try to find the best of everything for them, And the best thing that could ever happen to them is to make sure that they have a relationship with God. And without a relationship with God, then you can look for all these other things that comes within relationship, is because we're out of bounds. Mm-hmm. And Christian people, when we should be setting an example, as you say, but when we were not taught, or we don't know, and when we've got caught up, and see, the devil is so cunning that he'll have you doing and saying and believing things that are not even so. And these are primary tactics and tricks of him. He plays on your mind. If he can ever get in the mind, I read this book not long ago. If the devil can't steal your joy, he can't keep your good. And so when we're in God and we're strong in him, and the scripture said, greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. So we will be able to overcome the obstacles, the attacks, the trickery that the devil planned or put out before us. And yes, he would